Yep. Good evening, everyone. So, last previous demo sessions, we discussed about what is React and how to create React applications. So, we learned two techniques actually. One is one technique how to use React in existing project. For that, we learned two options by using CDN links and by using downloading library. I showed you both of them. Have you tried? Right. So next important, we learned about how to create a new React application, a separate React application, how to create. So we learned this one. So for that, we have npx. npx setup environment already we learned, because npx will not run directly. Many people have this doubt. npx is not working on my machine, right? npx will work on your machine only when node.js is installed. That means before npx you have to install node.js. On your machine you have to install node.js. I hope that is clear, huh? Right. So npx we have to use create React app and any app name. And how do we start the application? Also, I showed you, we have to just run npm start. And by default, React application runs on HTTP localhost. 3000 is the port number. That is the default port number for every React application. So up to this part, we have learned everything, right? So we discussed how to create a React application, and we learned about how to start React application. Now today we will see how we can build application, how we can start working with application, right? So actually we created a React application. This is the React application. So React shopping, I created this application called React shopping. And in this application, now we need to start the application. To start the application, we have to use open the terminal, and here we need to run npm start. So it compiles and it starts your application. Now first, today I will show you the complete architecture, how it works, how it is going to handle, how it is going to work. The basic architecture we will learn today. So in React, we have to start with, so we need to start learning with React components. We have to start with React components. In React, we have to start with React components. This is the first topic we are going to discuss in React. Already in previous session, I explained flow, that I hope you remembered. Means application starts with index page. Index page gets the logic from index.html, right? The logic comes from index.js. So first point is components. You have to know about components. Actually, component is a template. Component is a template. Component is a template. So component is actually a template used for building application. Template used for building application. Component is a template used for building application. It is a template used for building application. Actually, components are building blocks for a React application. Components are building blocks for React application. They are building blocks for React application. And important, I will explain these points detailedly. Every component comprises of three basic things. One is markup. It comprises of markup. It comprises of styles, and it comprises of logic. Every component comprises of markup, styles, and logic. So in React.js applications are built with components. React.js applications are built with components. So technically, components are everywhere. Actually, components are everywhere. Even in JavaScript also we have components. I will explain a simple point. I will explain. Like suppose you see, this is our application currently running on localhost 3000. We will come back to this. So here, suppose I opened Amazon. This is Amazon. Amazon is completely built with React. Amazon, Netflix, these are all built with React. So remember, Amazon or these Netflix are built on React means don't think that you are controlling the Amazon business. You are not controlling the Amazon business. Amazon business is controlled by ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. ERP softwares are used. You are just designing the portal of Amazon. Don't think that you are controlling the business of Amazon. That's not your job. Many people confused in this. That means many people ask like, can I build a website like Amazon? Of course, you can build a website like Amazon, but you cannot maintain the business of Amazon. You cannot maintain the business of Amazon. So because the business of Amazon is maintained by some other softwares, because Amazon is built in React, I will tell you the actual concept. Means I will tell you the overview. See. So I will show you the overview part here. Actually, suppose we will try to understand first this Amazon business. It is completely the business scenario. I'm showing you the Amazon business scenario. Actually, in any such business, usually we have some departments. So actually we have some departments like, so we have a admin department. We usually have some departments. So we have like admin department. We have another department. Means I'm telling the business departments. We have admin and we have purchasing department. We have purchasing department, admin and purchasing department. Purchasing department. We have another, that is finance department. Admin, purchasing, and we have finance department. Finance department. So, and we have another people called, we call as vendor. We have vendors actually. Yeah. So we have another one, that is vendor. I'll show here. Yeah. We have others. This is vendor. We have vendor. Now what happens is, suppose, means how the business works, I will tell you. Means how the concept of business works, I will tell you here. A simple thing. Actually what happens is, suppose you are the client. You are the client. Client is nothing but you are the user. Now you are in some city. You are in some city. So that means you are in some Hyderabad. Yes. So you are in some city like Hyderabad, that is the city. And in some area in that city, some area. Suppose some say some Amirpet. So that is some city area. That is the some city area. Now you want a mobile. You want a mobile. Then what you do is you open Amazon website. That means you open the Amazon website or you open the Amazon app on your mobile, and in that you will browse products. You will products. You will select a product and you will create a shopping cart and you will submit the shopping cart. When you submit the shopping cart, this comes to admin department in Amazon. What this admin department will do is they will prepare a document. They call the document as PR. PR is purchase requisition. Purchase requisition. What this admin department does is they will verify the cart created by this person is having everything valid. Valid means his address valid, phone number valid, and number of products, how much quantity he trying to purchase, is that valid. Everything they will verify. If anything is not according to the requirements, then they will simply reject that cart. They will say that this product is not available for delivery or something. So who is going to first verify that the cart created by user is correct? That is done by admin department. After doing that, what they will do is they will send this to purchasing department. What purchasing department will do is purchasing department will verify what item they need, how much quantity they need, where to be delivered. All these they will verify. They will verify. So after verifying, they will prepare a document called PO. We call as purchase order. And they will send that PO to the vendor, to the vendors. They will send the purchase order to vendor. Vendor is the person who is going to supply that product to the client. That means, for example, the vendors like mobile vendors, like suppose we have Big C is a vendor who will supply mobiles. So, or we have official vendor like Samsung is a vendor, right? We have vendors. Suppose Bajaj Electronics is a vendor. Reliance Digital is a vendor. Now what happens is they send, because they have contract with them, they will send a purchase order to that vendor saying that you need to deliver this product to this person in this area. Then what this vendor will do with the help of any courier, am I right? With the help of any courier service, they will deliver this product to the client. After delivering the product to the client will send a confirmation, means a confirmation comes order delivered. Then purchasing department will send the confirmation that order delivered. Now what vendor will do is vendor will send a confirmation to purchasing department that I delivered the order. He will send finance department invoice. We call them as invoice. He will say that invoice. He will send invoice to finance department saying that I delivered this product. Now pay me for this. Now what happens is the purchasing department will verify from admin department whether the product delivered or not. If it is delivered, then it will send finance department telling that you pay the money to this person. This is how business works. I just given an overview. Now what do you think? React will do all this? Impossible. React is not a finance management software. React is not a purchase order software. It's not a vendor relation management software. What React will do, that means I said that React is used Amazon is built in React, it doesn't mean that Amazon business is running in React. That means who will maintain in the background all this business? Actually, this is all maintained by softwares called ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. The popular, we have SAP. We have Oracle also ERP, right? Oracle ERPs are there, SAP ERP is there. These are all ERPs. These people maintain the business. These people maintain the business. That means actually, suppose you learned Oracle. You know Oracle, what it is? Oracle is a not only database, it is a ERP. Oracle is ERP. In that ERP, database is one part. Don't think that Oracle is database. Oracle is a very big ERP. That means Oracle Financials is there, FICO. I hope you know OBIE is there. Oracle Business Intelligence, OBIEE. Oracle Business Intelligence is very popular. It is in second place in trending software so in US. OBIE, Business Intelligence. First place AWS, second place OBIE. Most trending these are. That means Oracle is an ERP. SAP is an ERP. That means, for example, finance department will use a finance software like SAP FICO or Tally. Have you heard? Tally is a finance management software. That's responsibility is to generate invoices and all. Every department have a different tool. Why companies use SAP? Because SAP supports all of them. Admin related software, purchasing order related software, invoice, everything is with SAP. SAP have 72 modules it have. Right, SAP CRM, SAP SRM, SAP materials, SAP FICO, SAP ABAP, technical people. That means SAP ABAP people come to learn React. They come to learn React. Why they come to learn React? Because they are the technical people. Their responsibility is to see, business is entirely maintained by other softwares. For that business, client interaction is important. For client interaction, we are building an application so that he can browse the products, make an order and everything. That is done in React. Understood? That means you are not designing Amazon business. You are just designing Amazon interface. Business is not your job and you can't do, it's not possible. That means many times this is a very important point which people don't know, right? That means they ask like, by the end of the day, can I build Amazon like you taught us how to use React? By the end, can I build Amazon business? What do you think? Amazon business? No, it is just only Amazon interface. You can build 100 to 100% entire interface. How to search the products, how to select the products, how to view the products, how to add products into cart. After that, once you say payment and all, then rest of business is taken by these people. Right? The front end is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, React, Angular. That's all the front end. So our job is not building. So the business, our job is to provide an interface for business. So we are designing Netflix means don't think that Netflix works with only React. In the backend, there will be so many movies related database we have to maintain. So we need to handle streaming issues, how to stream the data, subscribing, confirmations of subscriptions. So many things will be there. So we are building the front end by using React. That means this all functionality we can build, but business in the background will work with other softwares. And any ERP in the background, in the front end, they need portal systems. Everything. That is the reason many times people from various concepts comes to learn React. Like people who are doing SharePoint, they come to learn React. People who are doing SAP ABAP, they are come to learn React because Their portal systems are maintained in React or Angular or single page applications. Then they have to handle that. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, along with that, this. Now, every application is built with components. For example, you see there is a sliding banner. This is called carousel. This is called carousel. Under that, you see there are boxes. These are called cards. We call them as cards. You see there is a search box that is called input group. That is called input group. That means these are all components. An application is built with components. Now, header component, footer component, register component, everything is built with components. Another example, Instagram, you have Instagram, right? Instagram is officially built in React. Instagram is officially built in React. Now here, very important, this login is a component, right? This banner is a component. This is a component. Now what is the point is, component is nothing but it contains markup, it contains styles, and it contains some logic. So that means the markup is designed in markup is designed using HTML. So you need compulsory knowledge of HTML, 100 to 100%. Markup is designed with HTML. Presentation, everything is designed with HTML. And styles are defined using CSS. We have Bootstrap. We use SaaS like software, SaaS or less like things. We use materials are there, so many third parties. So material and so many third parties will be there. That means actually styles with CSS, Bootstrap, SaaS less are preprocessors. You know that they are the preprocessors of CSS. That means developers directly don't write CSS. They use preprocessors like SaaS and less, and they convert that into CSS. If there are a lot of effects, if minimal effects are there, then they can directly go with CSS. That is the reason you cannot be a complete React developer without the knowledge of HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, SaaS, less, and material like knowledge. Many people ask, is it mandatory to know all this? For learning React, you just need knowledge of HTML and JavaScript. But to work as a React developer, you should have complete knowledge. Otherwise, you cannot achieve the client requirements. You cannot address the issues. That means, how do you think all that interface comes? A React developer means not just programming React. That means he's an UI. See, React main concept is building effective interfaces. We already saw that. What is the purpose of React.js? So reactjs.org, you see, it says that JavaScript library for building interfaces. Its aim is to build interfaces, and you say, I don't know CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript. It's like joke. It is building interfaces. You need to know good. So that means you can't call yourself as React developer without all that knowledge. And of course, here I will show you how to use them, how we can use them, and how we can build. Another important, the logic is defined in JSX. We use JSX. JSX is JavaScript extension. We use JavaScript extension, JSX. JSX logic is defined in JSX. JSX so is used for logic. Logic is defined in JSX. JSX is same like JavaScript, but some additional features will be there. Some techniques are there for JSX. What is JSX techniques? I will tell you. We will discuss detailedly. So that means a component is designed with three things. It contains presentation in HTML, styles in CSS, and the logic in JSX. And for JSX, so you can use JavaScript, or you can also use TypeScript as a language. That means we can use JavaScript or TypeScript as a language. So with TypeScript, it will be TSX actually. That means TypeScript extensions, right? We will learn first with JavaScript, then we will talk about TypeScript. We'll go later about that. So initially, a component is built with all this. What is the advantage of components? So what is the advantage of components? Components allow reusability. Components allow reusability and easy extensibility. Reusability, extensibility we can achieve easily by using components. That means they allow application to build faster. Reusability and extensibility are the main concerns actually. Reusability and extensibility are the main concerns. So we can easily reuse, we can easily extend, right? We can easily handle it, right? So here, that means I will show you the point here. Suppose you see, suppose we have Netflix. This is official Netflix page. When you open this Netflix page, you can see in Netflix, at the top, we have header section. That is header component. And after that, this is main component. This is register component. You can observe that this register component is repeating here again. Suppose you have learned just basic HTML, JavaScript, HTML like. How you will reuse this again and again? That means will you write that code snippet again below? Right? That is not good. Right? That means if I want to use in another page, again, you cannot copy that. Because if you rewrite or copy, if I want to make change later, then everywhere I have to change again. That means we need a reusable component. So that means this is a component. And we can reuse anywhere, any number of times. So the main purpose of the component is reusability. Easy extensibility. Later, if you want, you can add some new features into it. Automatically, it will be updated everywhere. You don't need to update everywhere. So React is component based. So, and important here is you can build custom components. That means your own components. You can build custom components, or you can use existing components provided by various third parties. That means you can build a component. You can design your own components according to your requirements. But many times in real-time projects, we just don't depend on our own components. We build our own components. We use a lot of existing components. That is compulsory. Everywhere it is mandatory. We have to depend on a lot of third parties. Actually, for example, why we need a lot of third parties? For example, suppose you know technologies like Java, .NET, PHP, Python, some technologies you learn. So you know how to write various programs and all. Suppose if I ask you, like, I am building an application for a supermarket, and in a supermarket application, I need a barcode reader. That means through a sensor device, when I scan barcode, that barcode related product must be shown on my screen so that I can add that into the bill. Now, have you learned anything like that in your Java, in your .NET, or in your PHP, or in your Python? Do you know how to write logic for generating a QR code? Then how you will build modern applications? because I made some ticket booking, QR code should be generated for it. Means is Java, .NET, PHP, Python, these technologies having logic for QR code? No. Then how they achieve? They depend on third parties. Every technology in the real world scenarios having lot of gaps. Every technology have gaps. Every technology is not 100%. It cannot fulfill all business requirements. Every technology have gaps, and 100% developers know that they have to depend on a lot of third parties to fulfill the gaps. That means your technology provides only limited library. You have to borrow from third parties. Your companies sometimes will use free libraries. Sometimes you have to purchase and use premium libraries. For example, so many third parties. For example, you see, so we have a third party like React material. So we have React material. This is a React material. So many other third parties are there. Material MUI. This is React components library. You see, this is components. That means this is React components. You see components. It says that we have a lot of components like grids, like sliders, like date pickers, like so many components are there. If you want to use them, we are providing some free. You can try them, or you have to purchase. You have to buy. That means you have to purchase. That means some premium recommend, some options are there. You have to purchase. Some are freely provided, some you have to purchase. And if you purchase, what they will do? A ready-made component, you have to just inject that into your application, finish, customize according to your requirement. That means you don't need to build everything. That means nobody will ask you, because software development is business. Software development is not talent show. That means they are not testing your skills. Already they tested your skills and took you into project. Now you have to build an application for client. That is not talent show. That is complete pure business. By tomorrow you have to finish this task, means you have to finish. Right? It is not a talent show that I will show my talent. I will write 10 days. I will take and design something. Nobody cares about that. He will say that don't waste time. Design this, get that from third party and use it. Right? So it is completely purely business. Software development is business, and you have to fulfill the requirements. That means you don't try to design everything by your own. You borrow from third parties. You have that facility, then integrate and build application. That is, you see, so many third party. This is one. Suppose we have a third party like Telric. This is another third party. This is another third party. Modern UI made easy. You can purchase UI related lot of components from these people. You can see these are the customers of Telric. NASA is customer of Telric. That means it is providing software support like NASA like people for their apps. Then you can understand their ability. They are providing support for Microsoft like people, for IBM. You may be asking, like, Microsoft itself is a software development company. It have millions of developers. Their developers can't develop. They can develop, but they don't waste time in that. Right? That means the camera that you are using in your Samsung phone is not built by Samsung. Somebody camera people have built that. People who are good in that business. The lens of the camera is built by somebody who is good in that business. Samsung will not build the lens. It will not build the camera. Right? That means they will not interfere in that business, because already their business is too complex. They don't want to do that. They will simply say that even we are a software development company, we will borrow from others, because that is not our job. It is time wasting, because already somebody have it. Why you are wasting again building it? Right? Just purchase and use it. That is pure business. So these kind of components you have to learn. So in React, you will learn two things. One, how to build your own components. Second, how to use predefined components, ready-made components which are available. We will see both of them. But in order to use ready-made components, first you need to know how to build custom components. How to build custom components that we will see today. First, how to build a custom component, right? So technically, so building a component, let's see. Building a React component. How to build a React component? We will see that now. How to build a React component. So building a React component. So how we can build a React component, technically what it is. Actually, first important point you should know that React component is a function or class of JavaScript. React component is a function or class of JavaScript. What are differences? I will tell you. So React component is a function or class of JavaScript. That means it is a function or class of JavaScript. So that returns markup, styles, and configures functionality. React component is a function or class of JavaScript that returns markup, styles, and configures the functionality. That means how to build a component. Component means what? Technically, component is a function or component is a class. Component is a function or a class. We have lot of variations, I will tell you. So don't hurry into questions. Until you finish the topic, you have to wait. Because it's a very big concept. Lot of scenarios are there. One by one, we will explore. So until we finish the concept, don't hurry into questions. Because if you follow step by step, you will get answer to everything, right? Because generally, immediately asks what is difference between function and class. We will learn. That is what we are here for, right? The point is, the key point here is, you know JavaScript. So what is difference between a function and a class? You know JavaScript. What is difference between a function and a class? Lot of technical things are there, right? Difference between a function and class. That means so many technical points are there. So actually, class is a concept of object-oriented programming, right? And I hope you know that object-oriented programming uses more memory. I hope you know it is very tedious, very complex in configurations. It uses more memory. So the classes uses more memory, right? So technically, I will tell you the points. I will explain detailedly. We will see that. I will one by one, point by point, I will show you clarity. So first, let's see this one. React component is a function or it is a class. It is a function or a class. Generally, how we write a function. So component function or class are defined. Component function or class are defined in a simple JavaScript file. In a sample JavaScript file. Later you will learn JSX files also, I will tell you. Simple JavaScript file. That means we have some component.js, a JavaScript file. A simple JavaScript file. And very important, component can be a function. Function, some function name. You know that function. Or component can be a class. Class name. Component, it can be a function or a class. So it can be a function or class. A component can be function or class. Right now, what this function or class have to return? What is difference between these two? So many points we will see now one by one. So technically, component is a function. You generally write functions in this way, or component is a class. Generally, we write the classes in this way. These functions or classes are defined in a JavaScript file. JavaScript file, that means component.js. And I hope you already know that these JavaScript files are considered as modules. No? Already I showed you in previous example, and you know JavaScript. Every JavaScript file resembles a module. That means component is a function which is defined in a module. Component is a function which is defined in a module, or component is a class which is defined in a module. So that means a module, that means technically component is a function or class defined in a module. So in order to use function or class from module, you know the rule. In order to use a function or class from module, you have to mark it as export. Am I right? You know that yesterday, last session, I showed you that point also. I showed you a simple module system in JavaScript, how it works. And I showed you that in a module, any function or any class you define is not accessible outside. In order to make it accessible outside, you have to mark it as export. That means you need to configure like this: export function and name, right? And similarly, you have to define like export class and name. You have to define the class. I will show example practically now. First, I am explaining the syntaxes, how we write, how we configure, right? How we define and how we configure this. Now, another important here, suppose now see, this is one option. Now, the concept here is, in order to use a function or a class from module, you have to mark it as export. And I hope you learned in JavaScript, you can also configure default export. Am I right? I hope you learned in JavaScript that there is a default export also, right? That means you can configure export default function and the function name. So we have export default class and class name. JavaScript module system teaches you exporting the default functions and default classes. If it is not default, generally if it is not default, then what you have to do is, actually, so you have to import modules and components. You have to import modules and components. And you know that we have to import the name from the module. Module use your JavaScript file, that is the module. This we have to use if it is not default. If it is default, then we have to import name from module. You don't need to use that curly brace if it is default, right? If it is default, you don't need to use the curly brace here, block. You have to use the block only when it is not configured as default. And I hope you already know that every module can have only one default function or one default class. That is the general module system of JavaScript. It allows only one default member. There can be only one default member in a module. Others are not default, right? Currently, we will work with only one. Later, we will see multiple, how we can handle and design them. So let's see now. This is first thing. So you understood that designing a component means in React, You have to create a JavaScript file, which is considered as a module. In that module is designed by using function or class, but those functions and classes need to be accessed outside. You have to mark them with export and or export default. Another important is, very important is, every component must return markup. Already we learned every component contains markup, styles, and logic. Every component must return some markup. Whenever you use a component, it should return some markup. How it returns markup? So function component returns markup by using return keyword. Function component returns markup by using return keyword. That means export function and the function name. What it will do? It will use return keyword in a parenthesis. Here you have to write whatever the markup you want to return. Understood? Whatever markup you want to return. That you have to define like this. That means the markup is returned by using return keyword. Actually, return is a jump statement. It is a jump statement. It returns the markup. So this component, this returns this markup. Component returns this markup. If it is class component returns markup by using render method. Class components will return by using that. So export class, the class name. This class will have a render method. This render method is going to return the markup. This render method will return the markup. Whatever markup you want to return, that is returned by markup. This render method will return the markup. We will see practically, we will see how we can handle this, right? Initially, the components can be a function or the component can be class. And in the modern JavaScript, we avoid using classes. Almost the community have decided not to use classes, right? React, no more classes. Earlier, classes, functions, lot of questions also related to that. From React 17 and 18 onwards, we don't prefer classes, right? We don't prefer classes. Earlier, we have problems with functions. That is the reason we have to use alternatively classes. But now, whatever classes are having, the same thing functions also having, the new version. That is the reason modern JavaScript React developers don't prefer using classes. Officially, React community itself tells that it is better to go with functions instead of using classes. Earlier versions you used because you have some problems in functions, but we solved those functions. We given new facilities to functions, and whatever class can do, the function also can do. So better use function, right? That is the reason now in the modern JavaScript with React, nobody tries classes much. We will use always functions. What is difference? I will tell you. We will see the difference. Now the question, how to access this component and use it, right? First, let's design a component with all these things, right? You learned all the basic rules. Let's design a component with all these. Let's go to the project now. In the project, first step. So where to keep all our dynamic files? We will keep in a folder called SRC. In SRC, again, I will create a separate folder. I will create a folder by name components. Better, right? All components we will keep, because a project contains lot of components, services, right? Lot of components are present, lot of services are present, lot of other types of functionalities will come. We will not mess up everything at one place. We will cleanly separate them. So, and component is a JavaScript module. How to add a JavaScript module? We will create a new file. We will create a new file. In this file, okay, let's do one thing. Let's create a component like React Netflix register. Let's create a component like this Netflix register. Only register component. Later we will design others. Then what I am doing is I will just give here components, add a new file, into components, Netflix register. Okay, and .js, right? But traditionally developers have an habit of giving the name component as suffix. It's not required. You can give anything because all are JavaScript files only. That's the reason people have an habit of cleanly separating them or giving a good clean name for those components. So we will see, suppose Netflix register component. I will give the name component.js. Okay, fine. It is a JavaScript file. Now, as we learned, component is a function. So we will write a function. Function Netflix register component. That is the function name. You know how to write the functions in JavaScript. But as per the rules of component, it should return a markup. It should return a markup. Here, so many rules are there. I will tell you one by one. The markup is written. Here, we have to use the JSX logic for returning the markup. Here, just I will put a simple markup, that is simple heading. I want to put a heading, or I will just put a paragraph. Let me write this paragraph. So what I have in Netflix, ready to watch. Okay. I will just put that paragraph. I will just put that paragraph. So that means it is returning first that paragraph. Okay, fine. That's okay. That means this is a function that returns this paragraph. Okay, that's it. Now later I will tell you how to add the functionalities, means the complete design. We will see one by one, right? So component ready. Our component is just implementing and using a simple paragraph to present. Okay. Now this component is not accessible outside. So we have to mark this as what? Export. You can mark it as default if necessary, right? But we will just configure with the export. Now once you configured as export, so now we have to start our application with this component. You saw the React hierarchy. What is that hierarchy? Whenever you are watching React, localhost 3000. Now the page that you are watching is index.html. And the logic for this page is rendered from index.js. This index.js is rendering everything into root. I already told you root. That means we have constant. So root. So we have to use React DOM. Create root. We have to use create root. And we have to collect the div or something, whatever is used as the root, get element by ID and all. Already it is written there. And it is rendering. By default, it is rendering a component called app component. It is rendering. Now we want our component to render. That means in the index page, we want our component to render. So let's see. Let's go to index.js. It is in same src folder. Index.js, you can see the root is rendering. Root is nothing but actually in the body section, root. Get element by ID root means in index.html in public index.html, this div is root. Into the div, we have to render some information. So actually what it is rendering? into that root, it is rendering this information. You can see it is rendering app component. It is rendering app component. So I will explain what is this strict mode. Actually, for JavaScript, people no need to explain, because you know what is JavaScript strict mode. Na? What is JavaScript strict mode? JavaScript have strict mode. Na? JavaScript strict mode means it will not allow any violations of code inconsistency. That means JavaScript developers are asked to write JavaScript in always strict mode, right? You have learned in JavaScript. For example, suppose there is a page demo.h, just sample I am showing. Suppose I am writing script x equal to 10, then document.write x is equal to the value of x. Is it valid? We are not declaring the variable x. As per programming standards, x need to be declared and used. But we are not doing this, but it will allow. That means it will work. It will work. Na? It will work. There is no issue. But we don't want programmers to violate the standards. Right? So otherwise one person will declare, another person will not declare. Then what we do? We turn on this use strict. You know how to turn on strict mode. If I turn on the strict mode, use strict, then automatically it will not allow this to happen. So it says that in the console, yeah, you can see here, it says that X is not defined. Because you are in strict mode, you cannot violate the coding standards. As per the coding standards, a variable need to be declared and used. And you declare the variable, now it will work. But if you don't declare the variable, it will not work. It will not work. Then you remove the strict mode, it will work. You remove the strict mode, it will work. No problem. So, but strict mode is very important for developers to make sure that developers are not violating the coding standards. So that is the same concept here. That means React is using strict mode. I will detailedly explain later when we go into architecture also, right? Initially, here we have to keep our component in startup. That means we have to render our component in startup. You see now in this app component is not using a curly brace to import because it is marked as default. If it is marked as default, you don't need that curly brace, right? If it is not marked, our component we have to import here first. What is our component? We have to import our component. What is our component? Netflix register component. From components Netflix register. From here we have to import. This is the module name. Am I right? This is the module name. Module name means file name. File name means extension doesn't require. You have to just use the module name. And this is the location where that module is present. From that we are importing a function. This is function. We are importing the function. And very important, if it is marked as default, right? If it is marked as default, then this is an error. This is not good. We can just use like this Netflix component. You can define like this. But you cannot use this if it is not marked as default. If it is not marked as default, then this is not good. Then you have to enclose this in the curly brace. This is generally JavaScript module system you have learned. And I want this component to start. That means we have to access the component name, Netflix register component. Now you can see what you designed in it. So it will come here. So we have ready to watch, enter your email or create membership. But still, so we need a lot of markup here. We designed a component, we made our component to start with. So how you will achieve this type of functionality? Obviously you need Bootstrap, because this is all Bootstrap only, by using Bootstrap. So I hope you know how to install Bootstrap for general projects and use it. But here I will show you the process. How do we do that? So if you want to use Bootstrap for your project, then what you have to do is, I will show you that point also. That means set up Bootstrap. Set up Bootstrap for application so that from the first day onwards, we can start using good effects into the Bootstrap effects we will use. For that, what you have to do is open terminal. So install following libraries. So you have to install npm install bootstrap, that is one. Another one, npm install bootstrap. People have given icons, bootstrap icons, and save. Bootstrap 5 onwards, they provided bootstrap icons. We can use those bootstrap icons for symbols, icons. We can use bootstrap icons. So open the terminal, install the following libraries. After that, how to link these CSS? What you have to do is go to index.js and import relative CSS files. You have to import the CSS files. Which files you want to use for your project? Those you have to import in index.js. In index.js, you have to import the Bootstrap files. You know, if you have already worked with Bootstrap, you know Bootstrap files, Bootstrap icons files are present in node modules. I will show you the process here. So let's do one thing now. So here what I am doing is, let's go and install that and see already in one terminal my project is running. Don't disturb this, right? Keep it running, otherwise every time you have to run it. So on one terminal project is running, open another terminal. Here we will install. So we will put here npm install what is it, bootstrap save. Okay, we are downloading and installing bootstrap here. So bootstrap is one library we need and we are doing it. Okay, done. We will install another one, npm install bootstrap icons and save. Bootstrap icons and bootstraps are installed successfully. These two libraries we are installing. Okay, done. After that, so we will import that in index.js. Those CSS files we have to import. You see already there is index.css file imported. Here we have to import those files. Anywhere you can import, it is present in /node modules. In that you will have bootstrap. In bootstrap dist, in that CSS we have bootstrap.css. I hope you know this file. That is the file which contains bootstrap. It is regular in every project. So we have import another CSS node modules, in that bootstrap icons, in that font, in that bootstrap icons.css. These two files we have to link in index.js so that now your project is ready to use bootstrap. These two files we have to import. So usually they are present in node modules. Whatever library you install, it will be in node modules. So we are installing node modules and we are configuring that. Okay, now once you have installed bootstrap and bootstrap icons, you have to link these files. Actually, I will upload this into Classroom, right? And here, now once it is ready, observe carefully, automatically some changes happened in your React application. When you refresh, by default some changes are made. Alignment, margins, little bit changes because bootstrap is already working here. So what you have to do now here, we need to design the component. So what we will do is, we will keep this entire in a container. Later I will tell you all the rules of JSX. You see, I will create a div. In that I will put this paragraph. After that, I hope you know this div is defined with a class. What is the class? Container, right? We have to use the class container. And remember, you already learned in your JavaScript. In JavaScript, HTML attributes will not work. We have to use properties. You know that, right? So in React, we have to use the properties. Properties means it is not class, it is class name. JavaScript also uses the same class name. Class name is what I will use container fluid. I will use container fluid. That is actually basic JavaScript one, right? So container fluid, it will keep little adjusted. I will put later other things. Now here I will put one more option. This is a text center. That is another class, and it will keep the text center. And I will keep little bit margin top 3. That means it is applying the margin top 3. And what I will do is below this, I will put a container. Here I will design. What is it? Input type is equal to email. We have input type email. And very important is JSX will not allow void elements. Those all rules I will tell you in a separate point. I will tell you. JSX rules I will tell you detailedly. It will not allow void elements. Void elements means every element must have end. Even in HTML, it doesn't require end. Here, every element needs an end. You write end tag, or you can use self-ending slash like this. Right? You can use an end tag or self-ending. And after this, we will put a button. And for this button, we will do one thing. For button, we will put class name BTN danger. And here in this, we will put a span. So here we will write some text, get started. And here the span contains class name. Class name is BI, and BI chevron right I am using. Now, usually this is button and this is email. Email will have a class name called text form controller. Form control is the bootstrap class name. These two must be displayed as class name as input group. We have to configure them as input group. And input group LG. LG will put the large size. LG will put the large size. And you can see here, it will display in this way. That means we have a Netflix registration form here. We just created that component here. Right now, very important, you can do a lot of things, right? Actually, for this, we have a class BG dark and padding 3 or 4 and the text as white like this, and it will give all this appearance in this way. We have just added the component. Just like the Netflix registration form. That means here you can add the option W50 or 75. W75 is width. How much width you want for that, right? That means we designed a register component of Netflix. So that is the markup we are presenting here, we are configuring. So we can design this entire page in the next session, right? So the point is, first you need to understand the rules of designing now. You just understood the concept. Now you need to learn the rules of design. Rules of designing means you need to understand the basic rules. What are the JSX rules? Then you can design such components. After you put this in Bootstrap, what you have to do now? We need to add the component Let me give you the example what we done. This bootstrap is ready. Now we will design an example. What is it? Netflix register. How to do that? First, add a new folder. What is the folder name? Components. So components. So into src, into src we will add a new folder, then add a new file. What is it? Add a new file, register component, Netflix register component.js. Now add following logic into this Netflix component.js. This is all the logic. Okay, I will paste that here. This is all the logic we need to add into that export function, and it should return everything. Now here we have to work one more thing you have to do now. So go to index.js. In index.js, what you have to do, you have to import this. I will give entire code. Just for your convenience sake, I will paste everything. Right? That means in index.js, what you have to do, keep it everything as it is. Just import these two CSS, and you have to import your component. Am I right? After importing the component, keep that component in the startup. Render that component. Then automatically your application will start with that component. These are all comments. You don't need this. Just I am giving entire code, whatever is there in index. Just you have to make changes here and you have to import. Now this is the component. And while designing component, we have used some markup with JSX. Now you need to know the JSX rules. This is very important. JSX rules. What are the basic JSX rules? In that one rule you learned, two rules already you learned. What is one rule? First rule you learned that so you cannot use attributes. Am I right? You cannot use attributes. You cannot use attributes. So only properties are allowed. You cannot use attributes. That means, so you have a div class. This is invalid. Invalid. What you have to do? Class name. Properties means, in JavaScript you learned. Those JavaScript properties you have to use here. Second point you learned, every element requires end tag or self-ending, right? It requires end tag or self-ending. That means input. This is invalid. You have to write input and close your input. Okay, this is valid. This is valid. Or you can write like this also, input and close. Others write inside type and other attributes. This is valid. Anything for image, we have to write img like this. Right? Every element requires an end tag. And very important is component will not allow directly multiple lines of markup. So you need a container. This is another rule. Multiple lines of markup means, suppose I put a heading. So hello and the heading close. After that I put a paragraph, welcome. Am I right? Paragraph close. This is all invalid. It is all invalid. What you have to do is, you have to put all the two lines in one container. Understood? You have to put in one container. Heading must be inside this container. Paragraph also must be inside the container. Multiple lines not allowed. You have to put in one container. You have to render in one container. Everything must be in one container. Later you will learn different types of containers. Right? What are the rules? How do we configure? We will go detailedly about this. But this is one simple example. So today I showed you how to create a React component and use it in the startup. Now in the next session, we will learn more rules about components. We will learn how to design complex pages with components. We will try to design Netflix homepage. So we will try to see how to design multiple components, how to access and design it. If you can do that, that's very good. That means in the React beginning itself, you can build such complex pages. Then it's very good. You can do a lot of other works in future, right? I will give you some exercises after I show you how to handle a component, right? Tomorrow we will see that, right? Tomorrow we will learn how to use multiple components. One more time, I will show you how to design component and everything. One more time I will show you. We will learn all the techniques. We will learn how to use the components and build a page, right? Tomorrow we'll see. Anybody missed out the classroom code? I will give the classroom code so that all the notes I will upload into that classroom code. This is our Google Classroom code. You need to join this Google Classroom code in a Google Classroom app. In a Google Classroom app, you have to join. This is everybody, anyone newly attending. This is the Google Classroom code. Here I will, here previous videos also uploaded. Anyone newly attending, the YouTube videos are available of previous demos. You can go through, right? Up to the demos, today's video, tomorrow I will upload, right? Today's video also tomorrow I will upload so that you can go through all these videos. Okay, right? And in tomorrow's session, we will learn how to design a good page with multiple components, right? Tomorrow we'll see, right? Yeah. Is it clear? Okay, right. Yeah. Yes, Gajendra Kumar, what is your doubt? What is your doubt, Gajendra Kumar? Yes. Yes, Gajendra Kumar, what is your doubt? I can't hear you. Yes, Sachin.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I have an issue regarding live server. When I run the HTML code, it is showing error, sir.
What? Can you share your screen?
Wait, yes, sir. Wait. Sir, it is visible on screen?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, I created two files, index.html and home.html. When I run or using open live server, then it is showing like that, sir. This page is not working.
Live server is not working. Show your live server. Once you have to reinstall your live server. Okay, live server extension. It has some issues. You have to uninstall and install one more time.
But sir, when I create new file and try to run, it is working, sir.
That means some corrupted this one. Just repair it or uninstall and install it. Okay.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Harish, what is your doubt?
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yes.
Actually, starting point is index.html, right?
Ah.
So can we change that to
Yes,
another
we can.
file?
We can.
Okay. And one more doubt is, we are defining this is the starting file and all. Where we are mapping, and what is the linking between index.html file and index?
That you will learn in web pack.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Fine.
Yes.
Yeah, hello sir.
Yes.
Sir, I'm I'm working professional, so working in a support project. So can I switch to this React? How many things I have to learn?
Of course, if you have basic skills of JavaScript, HTML, it's okay. Huh?
Okay. Sir, one thing I have a PHP and JavaScript, all these projects. So do I need to show this, or we can switch it? I have this much support project, and now I want to switch.
You
What
are
I have to
working on
mention
which
in my
support project?
Actually, it's postdoc support, cyber security.
Okay.
So, and I'm handling all the support related tasks like documentation and release and all this.
Okay. So, no
Like
issue.
how
You can switch to. You want to switch to front end development.
Yeah.
You already have idea of HTML, CSS,
Yeah,
JavaScript.
sir. Even I have created a dynamic website and which
Fine.
is also live.
So it's fine. Then this will add on the skill set. It will be very helpful, right?
Yeah. But my doubt is, I have to mention actually I have 3 years experience in this support and 1 year in PHP development.
Of course,
Theory.
you can say yourself as web security also, no?
Yeah, I'm
Right.
working in that domain.
If you mention as web security, obviously this will be suitable for that, right?
Yeah, I guess it will help.
Right. Web security is equal to this one, right? Then you will not have any issues, huh?
Okay. Yeah, actually, that is my concern. If I mention support, then again I will get opportunity in support only.
No problem. So you can simply say that I want to switch to this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can mention that.
It's not necessary that you have to continue in support only, right? You want to switch to front end developer, then no need of mentioning all that, right?
Okay. Just and one more thing, is there any JavaScript batch which you are?
JavaScript batches, so many are there, but individually I'm not dealing. So it will be as a part of full stack development. My course, my batches will be. Individual separate JavaScript batches will be there. You can contact admin. He will let you know.
In full stack, what are the technology? I don't want to work in
In full
Java.
stack, we learn front end, back end, front end, all the tools. So
And in
except
backend?
React and Angular, and back end, we learn about Node.js, MongoDB, Express.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
So in full stack, we deal all those. Separate JavaScript, if you want, you can contact admin. He will let you know. Huh?
Okay. Sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yes, Santosh.
So good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, my question is how much I need to know JavaScript for React?
100%. You must know 100% JavaScript. Right? To learn, you can have minimum knowledge, right? But to work, you must have 100%. Huh?
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Anandra.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Myself, Supriya.
Yes, Supriya.
So I have two issues. Shall I share my screen?
Yes.
Is the screen visible?
Yes.
So when I am running npm v, it is giving me this warning.
It doesn't matter. It's working. That's just a warning. Right?
Okay, this was one. And second one, when I'm using a module of that JS you taught last time, so it is giving me like
At the
this.
net, remove at the net.
At
You
the?
don't need at the net.
At
At the net, remove.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why, sir, why this happens?
You don't need at the net here. Huh? At the net, if you are importing in another modular system, right? Here it is not required.
Okay. Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Anyone else have doubt? You can install this anywhere. It doesn't matter whether it is a MacBook or anything. Huh? You can install anywhere. Okay, fine. So let's continue in tomorrow's session. Thank you.